Good afternoon. There it is. I had a delay with my mic, y'all. Well, good afternoon. It is that time. It is that time. It is Thursday, August the 5th. Can you believe we are this far along? Every day I just wake up and I'm so grateful. I feel so blessed in this post, quote unquote, post, because we're still in this COVID season, y'all. We're navigating as best we can. I hope everybody's staying safe. I'm watching all the back and forth, unvax, vax. It's a lot going on in these United States, but we're gonna keep up with Congress today. We're gonna keep up with Congress. If you are following me right here on YouTube, please, family, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit that notification, and share. Let's get this conversation started. So the first, I always like to bring you reparations information. What's going on in reparations news across the country? I found a very interesting article about the Faith Coalition to give the survivor funds as Tulsa Race Massacre atonement. So there's some monies going to those survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre riot. 100 years later, now they are seeing something. It's not reparations, but they're definitely calling it atonement. So we'll take it. They'll take it. I'm sure these families could use all the support they can get. I'm gonna make my screen larger so you can see it here on YouTube. Let me see if I can make it bigger. There you go. So the article says the leader of a Tulsa Faith Coalition said the organization plans to deliver donations to 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre survivors within the week. Aliyah Shemi, she's the executive director of the Tulsa Metropolitan Ministries, said the organization has raised money for the last 3 known race massacre survivors as part of its Greenwood Restoration and Reparations Fund. The Interfaith Coalition of Tulsa faith groups asked 100 houses of worship and faith-based organizations to each donate $1,000 with the goal of raising $100,000 to go to the trio of survivors. That's Hughes Van Elias, who's 100, Leslie Randall, she's 106, and Viola Fletcher, 107. So there's some monies that are headed their way. Says Shimmy said $85,000 has been raised thus far, and more money is coming in to meet the group's goal. And funds will be delivered to the survivors' homes. Houses of worship and faith groups from across the state have contributed, y'all. So that's a blessing. Totally a blessing, y'all. She said the coalition had initially hoped to give the donated money to the survivors publicly when activities commemorating the centennial of the race massacres were held in late May and early June, and Juneteenth at the latest. It says, however, Shimmy said people close to the survivors indicated that the centurions were fatigued after numerous commemorative events. So the decision was made to deliver the first set of checks to them personally at a later date. This is atonement, y'all. They're real clear. This is atonement and not reparations. I'm glad to see they are getting the language right. Shami said the funds are not considered reparations. This is primarily atonement from the faith community because they had a huge part in why the insurance companies wouldn't pay out and all those other things, she said. The 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, which happened over May 31st through June 1st, 1921, is now known as one of the worst episodes of racial violence in U.S. history. Mobs of white residents attacked and devastated Tulsa's Greenwood district, which was at that time one of the wealthiest Black communities in the United States. So to see the atonement, because they're real clear that this is not reparations, we appreciate it. It is really appreciated. I think that we need to see more communities, more faith-based organizations more of them be more participatory in this fight for reparations. We got work to do, and they need to be a part of us doing it. And why we are working with Reparations Sunday to make it happen, because we're pushing and asking the churches to stand up and do what's right. So this is a great article. Another article I found quite interesting. This is Tim Black, y'all. For those of us who follow Black media, Tim Black, y'all, he went off. He's popular socialist Tim Black goes off on the left over lack of support for reparations. I found this article. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna play this so y'all could hear Tim Black in his own words. So listen up, everybody.
What part of people that died you ass don't get? What part of we're sunk at the bottom have been? We've been cratering for decades on the bottom. And you going, well, this is a capitalistic society. So we don't want to feed that. Motherfucker, you feed it every day. Some of you are disgustingly despicable, naive, and moronic. Some people are really morons. And some people are tools of white supremacy with lame-ass talking points. Oh, what's going to happen? White people are going to be so mad at us. White people are already mad at us, dumbass. You know what would help them be less mad? Is if we were a protected class. You know what gets you protected? Money! Money gets you protected. So stop being an idiot. Stop being a tool for white supremacy and have the guts and the heart. I mean, really, man, I'm disgusted at some of you. I mean, I'm an old guy at this point. I'm supposed to not have a fire. I got young people sounding like straight up punk asses. Where's your fucking heart and your guts? Oh God, white people are gonna be mad at us. They're already mad, motherfucker. Is it a well, stick your foot the ground and turn towards it and run that way. Cowardly bullshit. Heard tell me turn over in the fucking grave, you coward ass motherfuckers. Where's your revolutionary spirit? Change the fucking name of your network, change the name of your crew. It's disgusting. Get under the wing and get the fuck out the way. We got work to do.
Probably shouldn't, but I am. You know, we're at a place and a space where people are tired of being tired. People are tired of asking and begging for, our Democratic Party and the left to get on the right side of history. Yeah, I ain't mad at Tim Black. It's coming out. It's coming up. It's coming out. People tired of being tired. Reparations is here. Reparations is due. And reparations is now. So I ain't mad at Tim. So I am laughing. HR 941, y'all. Let's dive into these bills. HR 941. I like to bring you some House bills and some Senate bills. I used to kind of do one or the other, but for the sake of making sure that we are watching both chambers at the same time, I'm bringing you House bills and U.S. Senate bills. I'll be over in the clubhouse space right at the half hour, y'all, and we will chop it up over there about what is happening in the world of politics. So I'll make my screen larger for those of you that are watching here on YouTube. So HR 941. HR 941 is the Transplant Act of 2021, Transplant Act of 2021. This is Doris Matsu, Representative Doris Matsu, Democrat out of California. This bill modifies and reauthorizes through fiscal year 2026 the CW Bill Young Cell Transplantation transplantation program, which provides support to patients who need a potentially life-saving bone marrow transplant or umbilical cord blood transplant. This bill also requires the Department of Health and Human Services to conduct a periodic review of the science of using adult stem cells and birthing tissues in therapeutic treatments. Y'all, this is Democrat Doris Matsu out of California. I'm sure Republicans don't, with the abortion and where these stem cells and birthing tissues, I'm sure there's some controversy around that. HR 941, y'all, keeping up with Congress. HR 942 is to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide for the application of the premium tax credit in the case of certain individuals who are unemployed during 2021. This is right here in Georgia, Representative Lucy McBath, Democrat out of Georgia. This bill makes individual taxpayers who receive unemployment compensation during 2021 eligible for the refundable tax credit for coverage under a qualified health plan. So this is Representative Lucy McBath, Democrat out of Georgia, a refundable tax credit for coverage under a qualified health plan if you were unemployed in 2021. HR 943 is the Social Determinants for Moms Act. This is again Representative Lucy McBath, Democrat here in Georgia, where I am. Social Determinants for Moms Act. This bill directs various federal departments to address social determinants of maternal health. These are non-clinical factors such as economic or social factors that impact maternal health outcomes. So it says, first, the Department of Health and Human Services must convene a task force to coordinate federal efforts on social determinants of maternal health. And HHS must also award grants to support access to free childcare during prenatal and postpartum appointments and address social determinants of and eliminate racial and ethnic disparities in maternal health. So this is Representative Lucy McBath, Democrat out of Georgia, HR 943. HR 944 is to amend the Public Health Service Act to authorize a loan repayment program to encourage specialty medicine physicians to serve in rural communities experiencing a shortage of specialty medicine physicians. So this bill is Representative David McKinley. He's a Republican out of West Virginia. We do have a shortage of physicians in these rural areas. So this bill directs the Health Resources and Services Administration, HRSA, to carry out a loan repayment program for certain specialty medicine physicians who provide care in rural communities with shortages of such physicians. Physicians must agree to a period of obligated service, and for each year of such service, HRSA must pay 1/6 of the principal payment and interest on eligible loans up to a maximum cap of $250,000. So there's a lot of incentive for physicians, specialty medicine physicians to go into these rural areas and practice, y'all. So this is Representative McKinley, Republican out of West Virginia. HR 945 is to direct the Secretary of Health and Human Services to issue guidance to states to educate providers, managed care entities, and other insurers about the value and process of delivering respectful maternal health care through diverse and multidisciplinary care provider models. So this is Representative Gwen Moore, Democrat out of Wyoming. This is a bill, y'all. It says this bill establishes programs and requires research to diversify the perinatal workforce and advance respectful maternal care delivery models. says this guidance must cover, among other topics, recruiting and retaining maternity care providers with diverse backgrounds and incorporating trained midwives and other perinatal health workers into maternity care teams. It says, in addition, the National Institute of Health must study best practices for culturally congruent maternal care. This is care that is in agreement with the preferred cultural values, beliefs, languages, worldview, and practices of healthcare consumers and other stakeholders. It says the Government Accountability Office must also report on certain aspects of perinatal healthcare professions. This report must focus on barriers to entering those professions for low income and minority women. So this is some very interesting legislation that is specific about addressing diversity and multidisciplinary care provider models. So this is interesting. You see it all in Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. HR 945. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy, y'all. If you have not gone to the website, if you have not contributed, what are you waiting for, y'all? This is campaigning time. We are on our way to the United States Senate, but it will take resources. It will take a lot of resources, y'all. I had to do a deep one on that, on deep side, because it is going to take us to move intentionally and strategically if we're going to get to the United States Senate. There's going to be millions of dollars poured into this race around us. We have to be able to compete. So if it's easier for you, get on a monthly payment plan. Just get on a monthly payment plan, do what you can, encourage others to do what they can. But it's going to take all of us to pitch in from all around these United States. I'm not just a senator here in Georgia. I will be your United States senator. So do what you can, encourage others to do the same. Senate Bill S501, Senate Bill 501. This is Senator Steve Daines, Republican out of Montana. This bill establishes a point of order in the Senate against considering legislation that includes an earmark. An earmark is generally any congressionally directed spending, tax benefit, or tariff benefit that benefits a specific entity, state, locality, or congressional district other than through a statutory or administrative formula or competitive award process. It says the point of order may be waived by an affirmative vote of 2/3 of the Senate. If the point of order is successfully raised and sustained, the earmark must be stricken from the legislation. So this is the Earmark Elimination Act of 2021. Senator Steve Daines, Republican out of Montana. S502 is Maze, M-A-Z-E, Maze in Transit Act. This is Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, Democrat out of Nevada. This bill modifies the definition of capital project to make zero emission vehicle fueling technology projects eligible for federal funding. A zero emission vehicle is defined as a low or no emission vehicle that produces no carbon or particulate matter. So this is the More Access to ZEV equipment in Transit Act, or the Maze Act, Maze in Transit Act. Senate Bill 502. Senate Bill 503. Senate Bill 503 is Parents Act of 2021, Parents Act of 2021, which stands for Providing Adequate Resources to Enhance Needed Time with Sons and Daughters Act of 2021, or the Parents Act. Now, I thought this was a Democratic bill when I saw it. Like, surely. No, this is not. This is Senator Cornyn, John Cornyn. He's a Republican out of Texas. So it's Providing Adequate Resources to Enhance Needed Time with Sons and Daughters Act of 2021. I had to look this up and look into this one. I was thrown off because I just assumed it was a Democrat. It says the Providing Adequate Resources to Enhance Needed Time with Sons and Daughters Parents Act will ensure children of separated or divorced parents have a set schedule that will allow them to spend frequent quality time with both of their parents. And normally you don't see Republicans get into this sort of kind of social issue, or I that's why I was so surprised. Even after reading it, I'm still surprised. It says research shows that children benefit from spending time with both parents after a divorce or separation. But according to the Department of Health and Human Services, nearly 7 of 10 parents involved with the public child support program do not have an official parenting time agreement. It says currently states wishing to use child support incentive funds to create a parenting time agreement must apply for a waiver from HHS. Since HHS has yet to deny any of these waiver requests, it has become an unnecessary and cost-consuming burden for states. It says the Parents Act would eliminate the need for a waiver, freeing up resources and yielding administrative savings for states. I guess because I don't know the child support system to the extent that I could explain this, but I'm still not clear on what this kind of parenting agreement must be or should look like. So keeping up with Congress, y'all, keeping up with Congress. If somebody understands what's happening and why they need the Providing Adequate Resources to Enhance Needed Time with Sons and Daughters, the Parents Act, I want y'all to help me. Help me, y'all. Senate Bill 504. Senate Bill 504 is the Green Spaces, Green Vehicles Act of 2021. Senator Cortez Masto, Catherine Cortez Masto, Democrat out of Nevada. This bill directs the Department of Energy, the Forest Service, and the National Park Service to collaborate on a Green Spaces, Green Vehicles initiative to facilitate the installation and use of zero-emission vehicle infrastructure, including on land that is not National Forest System land or NPS land. It says the agency shall facilitate such installation and use, including by acquiring zero-emission vehicles for the fleets of the Forest Service and the NPS. So this is Senator Cortez Masto, Green Spaces, Green Vehicles Act of 2021. All right, we are moving along. You know, my Thursday is really my Friday. So we are at the last bill for this Keeping Up with Congress. And for this week, Senate Bill 505. Senate Bill 505 is the Forced Arbitration and Justice Repeal Act. Forced Arbitration and Justice Repeal Act. I thought this was interesting. This bill provides a pre-dispute arbitration agreement from being valid or enforced if it requires arbitration of an employment, consumer, antitrust, or civil rights dispute. So I looked this up because I knew this was going somewhere that I thought we all could understand. So this bill is introduced by Senator Blumenthal, Democrat out of Connecticut. It says U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal led a group of 39 senators in introducing legislation to stop the use of unfair forced arbitration clauses, which are widely used to limit Americans' access to justice. The FAIR, which is Forced Arbitration and Justice Repeal Act, would eliminate forced arbitration clauses in consumer, antitrust, employment, and civil rights cases, and would allow consumers and workers to freely choose arbitration after a dispute occurs. Says forced arbitration is unfair. This is from the senator. Says forced arbitration is unfair and un-American. And during a global pandemic, it is also unsafe. Workers forced into a rigid arbitration system have lost one of the most powerful tools they have to hold employers accountable and gambling with their safety, access to justice. He said, but workers aren't the only ones at risk. Nearly every American been stripped of their basic right to justice, whether they know it or not. Nursing homes have forced arbitration agreements cell phones, and cable contracts have forced arbitration agreements. And one of the fundamental principles of our American democracy is that everyone gets their day in court. Forced arbitration deprives Americans of that basic right. The Forced Arbitration and Justice Repeal Act simply rights that basic wrong. So this is, a lot of times you consent to stuff when you click on it and you just click, you don't read it. This is about, these disputes being settled by arbitration, in-house arbitration. Usually it will be on the side of the company versus you having a fair process. So this is something that we probably can all relate to. So I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. I told you my Thursday is my Friday, but tomorrow I actually have an interview, so I won't have a Friday. But I'm still busy every single day. So if you have not gone to the website, please do. We are at the half hour. Go to the website. Be a part of this campaign. Be a part of this agenda for us to get to Washington. This is grassroots at its finest, y'all. I know we can win. I know we're in a season where this message is resonating. Progressives can move forward. I am a progressive Democrat. They try not to, they don't like that. The establishment doesn't necessarily like the progressives. They push back on us, but we just got to keep pushing. So I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. Go to the website, be a part of what we're doing, and let's move this campaign down the road here. Let's move it down the road. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. Please check us out on Saturday. I am having a phenomenal broadcast, y'all. You've heard me talk about MORE, M-O-R-E, this MORE Mayors Association, where all these mayors are coming together, quote unquote, for reparations. I told you we got to be mindful that reparations is federal, and reparations should be paid directly to the descendants of chattel slavery, not funneled through any other entity. Dr. Sandy Darity is going to join me on Saturday, y'all. He's going to join me on Saturday right here to talk about these mayors and these city initiatives for reparations. So make sure you join me Saturday on the broadcast right here on YouTube, everybody. Spread the word. I'll have a flyer out. I just got confirmation that he could do it just last night, so I'll have a flyer out before the end of the evening. But make sure you join me tomorrow. It's going to be good. Saturday, it's going to be good. Until then, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you soon. Join me on Clubhouse if you're over here and can hop over. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website. That's tamaraforgeorgia.com. www.tamara, Georgia spelled out.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Keeping Up with Congress.